Capital already knows who's going to be president after Cyril. They plan ahead. Who's going to keep their interests further for the next 50 years? And unfortunately, you and me and a lot of people, we are trapped in electoral politics. We are told to wait for another 5 years. And that is why my belief is that, it's not wrong to collapse a system that oppresses people for the next 100 years. It's not a crime.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another epic episode whereby we dive into the world of politics. I hope you're having a great, fantastic time, and I will implore you to please join me as we'll be talking more about politics and what is trending here in South Africa. So I was listening to this video that you just saw of Advocate Skhakhane explaining that the establishment already knows who will be the president here in South Africa. And I just said to myself, this is very interesting. How is it that they know unless presidents are given, unless there's a plan, there's a coup, and they decide upon the outcome of the election, right? So there's this new poll that has been trending so far, and it was given by the Social Research Foundation, which is the SRF. So now this poll, you can see that it says that only a third of the country's voters say that they will vote for the ANC if an election were to be held today. A new poll by the Social Research Foundation, SRF, shows that party currently enjoys the only 32% support among registered voters. This is almost 8% points fewer than the ANC received in the last year's general election. So now you can tell at the top, you can see that the ANC has declined from 40 to 32%, and the DA has increased from 22 to 25%. And Umkhonto weSizwe has declined from 15 to 12%. The EFF has declined from 10 to 6%, and IFP has declined to 4 to 3%. So now what is interesting about this graph is that only one political party is up, and that is the DA. How come? How come that only one political party in this graph? Remember, this is what is in the news, that is what is in the public domain, and this is what people are viewing, right? According to them, according to these researchers, right? And another interesting way that these elections that is used, even Daily Maverick asked a question saying, can we trust all these SA 2024 election opinion polls? Can we trust opinion polls to give us accurate estimation of what really the voters' preference are? Because looking at this, there's a very interesting video that I found about the people, the same people who gave these ratings, right? And it is very shocking. Just watch this lady exposing them of lying to the public. Watch here.
The DA and its proximity to Brainhurst as well as the SRF. The SRF, for instance, is founded by a gentleman by the name of Johan van der Berg, who happens to be a chief researcher for the DA as well. Equally, he is the founder of Victory Research. And then you have Mr. Ryan Coetzee and Gareth van Onselen, who have some tentacles within the DA. Is it unfair then to say that you have an influence in how these pollings are run?
Well, first of all, let me just say Mr. van der Berg is not the founder of the SRF. The SRF is headed by Frans Cronje and Saul Goldstein.
Founder of Victory Research, sorry.
No, he's a member, he's a partner of Victory Research. He's not the owner of Victory Research.
It says right here he is the founder and managing partner of Victory Research.
That's not my understanding.
It's right on their site, sir.
Okay, well, he works for the DA and does our polling. He obviously contracts out because...
So I want to show you something that will shock you about this rating agency, about which political party do you think that it is associated with, right? The SRF is proximity to the DA. The SRF is founded by the man called Johan van de Beek, who happens to be a chief researcher for the DA. Equally, he is a founder of Victory Research. All the people mentioned in that video that you just saw are linked with the DA. These are the rating agencies like Moody's and Finch, right? Remember junk status, it only happened when the late Pravin Gordhan was fired, was removed by Jacob Zuma. Then you will see the rating agencies. They will strike junk status, junk status, junk status. You remember it? So now we've heard the president saying something interesting, that the country has no money to pay government officials. And we hear Enoch Godongwane explaining that the country has no money to give other departments, so they are struggling. That is why they want to increase to increase VAT, right? And we hear Fikile Mbalula saying that we have exhausted the borrowing. So we have reached the limit of getting funds somewhere else. We can't anymore. So the country now is to an extent broke. Where is Moody's and Finch to declare South Africa to be a junk status? Because currently this is the high time that we need them. Not only when the late Pravin Gordhan is getting fired, then you put the country that was running better to junk status. Today the country can't even pay their own employees, government employees. They are struggling even to sum up the money for grants, but we are not rating them because now of the GNU, and that these rating agencies are working for the DA. Do you hear this now? Now the big question is, how did Helen Zille know about the 2024 election results? How did she predict 100% the present outcome of the election and the final results? How did Helen Zille know that the ANC will be reduced to 40% and the DA will be reduced to 20%? And that was exactly the outcome of the election. Let us watch this video here.
I think we need to consolidate the DA around 20%. It's a blood strong percentage. We mustn't try and be populist. We must really understand and intelligent to understand the complexity of politics. Black, brown, Indian, white, and different. We get together on that. It's powerful in the context of coalitions. 20% is big. It's not a one-seat party or a two-seat party. It's a big block. And then the ANC falls to, let's say, 40%. I'd rather make tough demands on Cyril Ramaphosa's ANC to force reform on them and going to coalition with them and make strict conditions for them in going to coalition with them. And that I think should be our aim in the next election. But these are all things that we have to discuss. We mustn't try and be a 50% party. We want 20% of South Africa. And remember, there's only 8% of white. Between 15 and 20%. That gives us a strong, consolidated bloc in coalitions.
So the IEC, the rating agencies, and the DA, they will need to explain to us South Africans on how did they know the outcome of these elections, right? These three entities, they need to come and answer to the people of South Africa, because in 2024, before the elections, they gave these ratings. Before the elections, it was 7 days prior to the elections, they said that the ANC will win at 40.2% and the DA at 21.9% and the EFF at 11.5% and the MK party at 8.4%. So now, what is interesting about this is that white people in South Africa, they only compose around 7% of the population, right? And that number, they share it with the party like the FF+. So you can even split that to half or something. I'm not denying the fact that there are also black people who also vote for the DA and maybe the FF plus, right? But I don't think there are so many like we'll expect them to be, like compared with the EFF, the MK party, and the ANC. So now the question is, how come they are the third biggest party, the DA? Let us hear what Ntsiki Mazwai has to say about this thing here.
Daily Maverick or Business Day, and those belong to Abo Stellenbosch, guys, and they're telling you what they want you to hear so that they can keep controlling the whole economy, basically.
Does the government of national unity also belong to Stellenbosch?
Gahle nje. Because by Bonile, EMK, they weren't waiting for. EMK was a surprise.
Yeah.
And if you remember, initially, they played it down and they dumbed it down, and the media wasn't really giving it platforms. But then when the energy started to pick up, that's
Sure.
when they saw Guti, yo,
Yeah.
okay, Sinzanjan. Even mas so guys, EDA, Anjani, that is the second biggest. Anjan, like when you look at the numbers in South Africa, I know they keep saying, no, the colors vote. I'm like, no, Nakona. If you look at the realistic numbers of this country and how white people are less than 10%, but you're telling me that a party of people who are less percent is the second biggest party? Guys, let's be a bit smart, guys.
But the DA is saying that we have generated a black vote. So
The
it's you
DA
black
is
people.
saying-
It's you black people who are voting for us.
The DA is saying.
See, but we live with other blacks who are no longer black. You know this.
But they're not that many, guys. The black middle class is not that large, guys. If we go sit and do the numbers,
Yeah.
it's not that big, guys. Mayanje in North or Prey Street, we're Essentin. We're to the Hyde Park. There isn't a mass of blacks in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
So the truth, we don't have it. There's something that is fishy about the IEC, the rating agencies, and the DA. And the white monopoly capital, those who are controlling South Africa. There's something fishy. We need people who knows how to research and come up with information so that they will link these companies together and see the outcome of the proof of corruption these entities are working on. Because if now they will work like this, it means people are wasting their time to go to vote and to cast their X mark there, because already the outcome will be decided somewhere. Why would people wake up early, 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. to queue there, wanting to choose their best optional political party, only to find out that the IEC will listen to those who are running South Africa, to the sponsors, to rig the vote and gave a false outcome to favor the DA, the ANC, so that they will form the government of national unity. So this thing needs to be investigated. We need more clarity and information. Otherwise, it's all false and misinformation. They are playing with us people here in South Africa. It's time for us to wake up. Please don't forget, you can hit the subscribe button and you can press the super thanks button and leave your comment on the section here below. Until we meet on the next video, and I'm out.